Tigers. That's Coach Scott McGee, and he has some guests with him. He's got players in Dalen, Stewart, Grant Merryman, and Blake Hultgren. And for today's show, we got a season recap to do with the head coach of the Class 5 state champion Willard Tigers, recapping their games from the past season, as Willard did win the Class 5 state championship this spring after losing the 2020 season last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So as we recap the season, the Willard Tigers went 27-10 on the year with 10 losses coming to Kennett, along with Kickapoo, Columbia Rockbridge, Staley, Springfield Catholic, Nixa, Carl Junction, Republic, and Ozark, Logan, Rogersville in the 2021 spring season, which they took it all the way to state at US Ballpark in Ozarks. So, guys, going into the season, what was the strategy that you had going into this 2021 spring season?
We got rid of the losses there. I guess you would say. And so by mid-late season, we were kind of a well-oiled machine. And so even though we did lose 10 games, the people we lost to were either Class 6 schools or people who were state-ranked. And so that really made us a lot better.
Did make you guys
and Dalen, Grant, and Blake, you guys can jump in anytime you guys want to. Okay.
So we'll go with Dalen Stewart first from Willard. So Dalen, repeating that question, what was the focus or the statement or strategy that you guys had going into this 2021 spring season?
What did you say? Sorry, you kind of cut out. Can you ask that again?
The strategy going into this season with Willard baseball.
I mean, our strategy was to just play our baseball and not try and do things that our team wasn't capable of doing, like hitting home runs, that type of thing. More of a singles, and then we get a good guy up, I can get an extra base hit and knock that runner in and run the baseball around, taking it off, taking it off pitches. And that's what made our team as successful as it was.
Grant Merryman, same question goes to you. So back to the same question to one of the players of Grant Merryman once again. What was the main strategy that you had going into this 2021 spring season after losing the 2020 spring season due to the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, I think whenever we look at that, everyone focused so much on 2020 and what that group lost. And hey, the 2020 seniors throughout the country lost so much. But all the current seniors lost their junior year, and all the juniors lost their sophomore year. And I think sometimes those guys kind of went overlooked. And so everyone kind of missed out on some development and some experiences. And so, for us, it was just a totally new deal. It really kind of allowed us to kind of reset our program. And you talked about strategy earlier. Just kind of change the strategies that we had because as Grant and Blake and Dalen had alluded to, we were a pretty big power hitting team in the past. And this year we had to change some things. And we were really centered around Dalen's pitching, playing really strong infield defense, and then just finding ways to get on base. So that was kind of allowed us to reset and do those things.
Could allow you guys to reset and do those things. And I'm looking at the Ozone magazine, which you guys are on the cover from last year, which it said unfinished business. So did you guys take into that, say, we have unfinished business, let's go win state in 2021?
Dalen, can you talk about that? Did we have unfinished business for this year?
Yeah. So in 2019, when we had the unfinished business, there was really the only seniors were around that 2019 group. So I think it really only played a role in our season and not like the junior and sophomore class. But now that it was carried to us, we kind of passed it down to the younger kids, and so they're all playing with the same emotion and energy we were, so we were all going as a team at it. And so whenever we finally got to that state championship game and won, we had all the sophomores and juniors saying finish business, which is really eye-opening because they weren't a part of that very much. And for them to just be able to train with the seniors and put that same emotion that we were playing with really blows my mind.
Well, it does blow your mind that last year's season was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and from last year, you guys were actually nationally ranked. As you guys went up from, I think, ranked in the 80s and then up to, I believe, ranked in the 40s. But Coach McGee, correct me if I'm wrong. Where were you guys ranked last year, and were you guys nationally ranked this year as well?
Grant, can you talk a little bit about not being preseason ranked and then just kind of the way that we kind of came together as the year went on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that honestly, really helped us because we were like, oh, everyone's doubting us. We really have nothing to lose. I mean, kind of our whole high school career, it's always been about the class above us and all that, and that whenever they left, we weren't going to be very good. So we kind of used that to fuel us, and then just as the season went on, the more people started jumping on the train, and they noticed we were actually could win some baseball games, and then at the very end, I feel like almost everybody was like, oh, this team's actually can do something. So it felt good at the end of it to see everyone else kind of flip back over to our side. So we definitely use that as a chip on our shoulder for sure.
You did use that as a chip on your shoulder this year, and and as you guys did rack up 27 wins on the year with just 10 losses on the year. So with that, what was the definition of this season?
3-3 tie in the bottom of the eighth. You know, we were 27-10, and just how that kind of worked out. You know, and Blake, if you could just kind of talk about how important winning was to everyone in our program.
So, we always strive as a program to get to at least 20 wins because if you're a high school team and you get to at least 20 wins, that's pretty incredible for any team, no matter how good or how bad you guys are, who overlooks you and everything. And, I think that some people strive to win more than others. The leadership of us seniors wanting to win so much and the desire to be good just pushed everyone else to want to win, especially wanting to win for us and just prove everyone wrong and just be the amazing team that everyone thought we would be.
Just be that amazing team you guys thought you were going to be this year. And going on to the wins, you guys had 27 wins. What was the most important win that defined this 2021 season for the Willard Tigers?
Yeah, what do you guys think on that? What was our most important win?
I think Webb, honestly, that really gave us a lot of confidence. After they were ranked second, we got ranked first.
Yeah, I would say Webb too. Webb was one of the most important mid-season games, if not the most important mid-season game, in my opinion. Yeah, like Blake and Grant said, Webb was definitely a confidence booster for our whole varsity team, and that carried on through the whole season. And obviously the next biggest win was the state championship and the semifinal game that got us there.
The semifinal that got you guys to the state championship, as you guys did take on Grain Valley, which is right outside of Kansas City. You also had to defeat Fort Zumwalt South, which is in the St. Louis area. So, out of all those wins, what was the most exciting one that you guys had in this 2021 season?
I think, I'll kind of speak to that just a little bit. I think, our most exciting win was the state championship. Just the way that it ended. We got up 7-2 in that game, and then came back and scored at the very end of the game. And I just thought it spoke to the resiliency of our group, which was really, really strong. But I'll let those guys. We had a bunch of other really exciting wins, even in the postseason. And so I'll kind of let those guys speak to that. What do you guys think was our most exciting win?
I think the most exciting one was the state championship, just because the whole Final Four, because we got down and 2 weeks into the first part of the season, we wouldn't have been that team that came back and won those 2 games there. We would have just probably laid down or had negative energy in the dugout instead of staying positive and just believing that Willard baseball will get us that win there. So I'm probably going to say the state championship game.
Grant or Blake, what do you guys think?
I would have to agree with the state championship game being the game. Like, I can't think of any other game that was more fun, especially the outcome of it. Like, being the only team in boys history to win a state championship. It's just amazing, and especially for it to be with baseball and this group of guys. Other than the state championship, I would probably say the district championship, because we prepared. We had 3 days off just to prepare for that game, and then we were really fired up because we were like, at least we can do this. It'll be a success. And then once we won that, we're like, hey, we only got 3 more games. This is definitely doable for us. So that was really exciting times.
Yeah, and to kind of back up Grant's point there, the district championship was also just tough because we had asked so much out of Dalen that week, and then Dalen was not super sharp in the district championship, which was, I think he threw 14 times this year, and there was only twice he wasn't really sharp. And so for us to still win a game convincingly without our best dude being at his best was, I thought, a really big moment for a lot of our other guys. Because, ultimately this is a team game, and so you sit here, you talk about your one arm, but we were able to really get some things done even without him being at his absolute best on that day.
Talk about baseball just being a team game where you can't go out with just the same pitcher, just like in football, where you can come out with just your same quarterback, but you have to have multiple pitchers in that will come on every day. Now, moving on from wins to losses, what was your toughest or educational loss that you had to learn from this season?
I have my opinion on that, but what do you guys think was our toughest loss, or our loss that we learned the most from this year? What do you guys think? Dalen, why don't you go first?
Oof. Probably, I would say probably Carl Junction, just because we were up 3-1, I believe was the score at that time, and we couldn't execute our pitches at the late in the game there, and that cost us that win.
Good. Grant, what do you think?
Oh, I was thinking CJ too.
Okay.
Maybe the Catholic game when we kind of got smacked around a little bit. We were like, kind of woke me up a little bit. Like, man, we got to start playing better.
Right.
Where I was like, if we don't turn it around, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. Blake, what do you think?
I think that the CJ game it wasn't as eye opening as the Catholic game in my opinion, but I think that we looked at the CJ game as one of the more important games since it's a really good team. They were ranked high in the midseason rankings, and they're a good CUC opponent, so we were really wanting to beat them. And I think losing to them kind of put us on edge a little bit, and it kind of put a little bit of grit in us, I think, and made us push ourselves a little more.
And I think from our coach's standpoint, I think our most influential loss was probably the Ozark game. We had just a touch of selfishness in our program at that time. We had some guys that I will say this is the best group of 6 leaders we've ever had. We might have had better individual leaders, but as far as just a 6-person senior class that led the entire group, unfortunately, we didn't always have a great group of followers. And I think the Ozark game kind of exposed some kids maybe who were not great followers. And they quickly figured out that they better get on board and get things figured out, or our season was going to be over pretty quickly. And that was probably the worst we had played this year. Catholic beat us because Catholic is really good. and I'm not taking anything away from Ozark, but we played really poorly against Ozark. And I thought it really kind of maybe opened our eyes as coaches that we needed to refocus on some things that allowed us to win, and maybe got some of our sophomores and juniors a little more prepared for postseason baseball.
Ozark or Catholic was one of the ones that you would say prepared you for postseason baseball. And what was the one that disappointed you? What loss was the one that was disappointing to you guys?
I'll say this, Adam. I think that our guys would tell you that this is what I admired about our group. We lost 10 games, and I thought after all 10 games, our guys were disappointed. We've not always had groups like that. That's just been the last 3 or 4 years, but that was very true of this group. They were disappointed after absolutely every loss. We took the field with one goal, and that was to win. It wasn't to hunt stats. It wasn't to impress college coaches. Our guys said, we want to win. And I thought that this group did a tremendous job of that. So I think it's going to be tough for them to come up with a most disappointing loss, because I think they were pretty disappointed every time we lost. But I'll let you guys speak to that a little bit. Anyone has any thoughts there?
For me, it was probably Republic, because we battled them all game long, and then just to lose it in the ninth, that was hard for me. That was the toughest, at least. Almost losing to Hillcrest was also really tough. That woke us up a lot, too.
Blake or Dalen, you guys have thoughts on that?
The game for me was the Ozark game for me, just because I expected better from us, especially against Ozark, because they've always been a big rival for us, and just going out there and playing that terrible, and some of the other guys not seeming to care as much, it just was really disappointing just to have that time and just have that little spurt of time where we just weren't very locked in and stuff. It just really sucked. I don't really have a most disappointing loss, because, like McGee said, we're just trying to win, and I don't care how we win as long as we win.
Doesn't matter how you win. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's how you win during this season. Now, Dalen Stewart, you were coming in as the number one pitcher in the rotation for Willard, a southpaw, which you would command a good breaking ball with a changeup, and you could hit 86 from last winter. So, what kind of work did you put in last winter to have a good breaking ball, have a good changeup, and to throw 86 off the mound?
I mean, honestly, it's just the strength. Like I worked out probably just as much as Blake, probably a little more than Blake. He's just way stronger than me. I mean, I just took everything so seriously, even outside of practice when no one's watching. I just did everything right. And when you do things right, you're going to get the right results. So that definitely played a huge part in why I gained so much velo this offseason. And another thing how I got my pitches to be better, I guess, was just spending so much time working on it, just throwing with my brother during the lockdown and everything like that, and just not sitting on my butt and just expecting to get better by doing absolutely nothing.
Just taking in the work during the shutdown last season, as also from what I see is one of them, I believe, is going to be committed to go to college. One of them, I believe. So, Coach McGee, do you have any players that are going to be signing to go play college next spring?
Yeah, actually all three of these guys are. Dalen's going to Jeffco. Grant Merryman's going to St. Louis Community College, and Blake Hultgren's going to College of the Ozarks. So all three of these guys are committed, and then we have a couple other commitments as well in our senior class.
So all three of them are going to be going to Jeffco outside of St. Louis, along with St. Louis Community College and C of O. So, boys, talking about Jeffco, STLCC in St. Louis and locally C of O. What did you guys learn from all three of those schools that you guys committed to? What made you choose those schools?
Grant, you wanna go first?
For me, it's just, I always just need to get bigger. So I just want to go to a place where I can lift every day, eat a lot, and then also get a good chance to start my first year. So that was a big reason why I chose St. Louis Community College.
Blake, why don't you go next?
So, C of O, not many people like the rules and everything that C of O has, and to be honest, that kind of fits my personality and how I've been raised and how I've grown up and everything. And whenever I was first getting recruited, they seemed really interested in me, and then they told me that there was a good chance that I start my freshman year, and that really convinced me to go there. And also, I'm really into a lot of the things that they have down there, like the hunting and all of that stuff that they provide for me.
Dalen?
So one of the big reasons why I decided to go Jeffco was because that program is good with pitchers, and me going in as a freshman, I'm not going to be the guy, so it's going to push me to work harder because a lot of those dudes throw harder than I do right now. And so when you're around people who throw hard, that's going to make you want to throw harder. And so it's just going to help you in the long run with where I'm trying to go with my career.
Does help you to work harder when you see players that are throwing harder than you, because it makes you want to throw harder in college, and it helps you want to go further in your career. And now going into next season is into spring of 2022. What's going to be the main focus for the spring of 2022?
I think for these guys that are going to play in college, I think they've all three chosen a place where they will have a really important role. There's a lot of guys who sign to play in college, but they don't actually get onto the field. And I think that all of our seniors who have committed, and we have one committed to football or signed for football, but is they're all going to get onto the field pretty quickly in their careers. And I think that's really important for guys. It's just really tough to go from playing every day as a senior to sitting on the bench. So I'm really excited for them doing that. As far as Willard baseball goes, offensively, we're going to be really strong next year. We do have major question marks on the mound, and then our middle infield defense. So those are things that we're really we're kind of already starting to work on, and hopefully we can get some things figured out here over the next 8 or 9 months.
Hopefully you guys get some things figured out over the next 8 to 9 months, as Willard is a football school, so they do have to sit out for next spring. So Coach McGee, you know that some schools here in Missouri don't play football and they have fall baseball. So do you think that it's a luxury for schools that don't play football to play fall baseball in the fall?
Honestly, I kind of like that we have football. I mean, I think you kind of work a lot at Crane, and they don't have football. They have fall baseball. I think it's a really good mix for us. Blake played football this past fall. It's really good to just kind of get a little bit of a break from baseball. I think mentally it's tough to just concentrate on one thing for 12 months a year. And so, people talk about the physical risks and all this kind of stuff, but I think mentally it's good to take a little bit of a break. And then football season ends in early November or late October, and you're able to just kind of start getting ready to ramp up for baseball season. So I actually kind of like that we have football and kids get those opportunities to do something else. We have a couple that play basketball as well, and so I think it's good to see kids play sports, and then I think it just kind of motivates them. Dalen and Grant, who are on this call, they only played one sport, but they're also extremely committed to that one sport. But a lot of guys say, well, I play one sport, but they really don't work very hard in the off season. And so guys who play other sports, I think it's a really good thing for us.
It is a good thing to do, to play more than just one sport. It keeps you active during the winter, and it also can help you get to be built ready to play your number one sport, which could be either baseball, football, basketball, or track or cross country. So so Dalen, Grant, and Blake, what do you expect from next year's Willard Tiger baseball team as they go into the spring of 2022?
I mean, I honestly have the same expectations for that group as I did for our group, just to keep playing Willard baseball and just keep competing as a whole and not caring about your stats. But I think next year for them offensively is going to be a different way they approach the game, because like McGee said, they're going to have some more power guys coming up to the plate, turning power hitters. And I think they're still going to have to bunt and take their walks, obviously, but their whole hitting game is going to change drastically from what ours was this season.
Hitting game is going to have to change for next season. And Coach, Coach McGee, you guys are going to have, I believe you're going to be losing 6 seniors if I'm correct, and I believe you'll have a boatload of sophomores next year, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seniors next year, and I believe you guys will have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 juniors. So, with you guys being junior and senior heavy next year, is that going to be a big plus for this Willard team? And you guys will have a lot of sophomores, and I don't know how many freshmen you guys are going to be having coming in for next year. So, with having a boatload of juniors, seniors, and sophomores, what kind of pluses and minuses does that give you guys for next year?
One of the things that's going to be tough for us next year is you did mention we're going to have 5, 6, 7 seniors somewhere in there, but I don't know that all of them will have a huge role. But I think a lot of them will have smaller roles. I mean, obviously we're returning Cade Billiard, who's first team All-State. But when you have seniors that are in charge of your team, winning is a priority. And we're going to be pretty reliant next year on some juniors and sophomores in major roles. And sometimes those guys don't see the urgency of winning. And so that's going to be a major question mark for us next year. We are going to be really talented. Our incoming junior class has really improved over the last couple of years, and they're going to be really strong. And then our incoming sophomores are one of the 2 or 3 best groups in the area, and our incoming freshmen are probably the best group in the area. So we're going to really have some options there, but trying to get everything lined up to where winning is the priority. That's really, we ask every senior group to leave a legacy. And this senior group, winning was the number one priority. I don't remember ever having a situation where I had to have a conversation with a kid where I felt like they weren't just trying to do everything possible to win. And that's what I really appreciated about this group of seniors. And hopefully some younger guys learn from that.
Those younger guys can learn from the group of seniors that you had this year into next year. Now, moving on to awards from Willard, I believe you guys had some all-district and all-state players in Class 5. So are the 3 guys that are with you, are they all-district and all-state this year and along with all-conference?
They all got some awards. Dalen got basically every award possible. Dalen's probably the best pitcher we've had at Willard. Grant Merryman was all-conference and all-district. And Blake was also got some all-state recognition. So all of those guys did get that, but I appreciated how they just didn't focus on that too much. But yeah, all 3 of these guys got postseason honors. I will say this, the postseason honor thing is a little bit weird because I think the guys who are on the team all recognize who the dudes were, even if that doesn't necessarily line up with the stats and how people get recognized outside of our school. So I think when you ask people in 10 years who are your best dudes on that team, it won't always just be the guys who got all-state or all-conference. Late in the season, just for example, I thought Clayton Kaiser over the last 4 weeks, he was a sophomore for us, was one of the best players in the state of Missouri, and he didn't get any recognition of any kind. So I think it's just one of those things where, sometimes the awards don't always match up, but I was glad that all 3 of these guys did get postseason honors.
the three guys that are joining us, Grant Merryman, Blake Hultgren, and Dalen Stewart, all got postseason honors from this year. And Coach McGee, I'm pretty sure you did get an award for, I believe, Coach of the Year. So correct me if I'm wrong if you did get Coach of the Year from this year.
If I did, I don't know that, but I don't ever look at that stuff, so I'm not totally sure. If I did, it was because of our players. I may have. I haven't seen that, but I don't know anything about it if I did.
I don't really think about it if you did. Now, before we let you go, if there were any final words you had to say to the coaches that you played from this year, I believe that was 37 coaches that you played from this year. What would be your words to all 37 coaches that you played with this year, including the coach or the players of Dalen Stewart, Grant Merryman, and Blake Hultgren? What would be your words to all the coaches that you played this year?
It's one of those things where I think that we did win state this year, and this has been a long time coming. Southwest Missouri baseball has gotten so much better in the last, 15 to 20 years. I graduated in 2000. If I went back to 2000, I can remember one kid that I played high school baseball with that would have gotten on the field for Willard this year. And we won the COC in 2000. Baseball has just gotten so much better in Southwest Missouri. There's so many more people invested in this. You have high schools that take it much more seriously. Then you have travel teams that are working year-round with kids. And so you kind of constantly have to raise the bar in order to get better. And so I feel like a lot of people pushed us to get better this year. And so I'm really appreciative of that. Dalen, I don't know if you could hear that, but do you have any final words about the season or the people we played or anything like that?
I mean, not really. I guess my final words is it was awesome to be able to play a role in the great organization that you created for this town.
Grant, you have anything?
Yeah, I would just say that I appreciate all the coaching staff did to help us win this year, and I think they were a big part of why we won.
Blake?
Yeah, this is the best coaching staff that I think anyone could ever ask for, and it's just so amazing that we got to have such a big opportunity with everyone that we have, especially with all the fan base and the former players and all of these teammates and coaches.
All the teammates and players that you had as coaches. That will end today's show for today. We hope you enjoyed our show. We hope you enjoyed us sitting down with the head coach of the Class 5 state champion, Willard Tigers, as Coach Scott McGee, along with Dalen Stewart, Grant Merryman, and Blake Hultgren. If you'd like to stay connected with the Willard Tigers through their social media, be sure to like them on Facebook. Also follow them on Twitter. Their Twitter is at Willard_baseball, I believe. If I'm correct, Willard_baseball on Twitter. Also, check out Michigan.org for their schedule, as they have not released their schedule for the 2022 spring season, as they will be defending the Class 5 state championship that they won this season. We also like to congratulate the Willard Tigers on a magical season, winning the Class 5 state championship. Also, we like to wish them best of luck for the 2022 spring season, as they will once again run it back and defend the Class 5 state championship. If you'd like to stay connected with Ozarks Sports Report through our social media, be sure to like us on Facebook, also follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and check out our website. Our website is ozarksportsreport.wixsite.com/ozarksportsreport. One final time, I want to thank head coach Scott McGee, along with Dalen Stewart, Grant Merryman, and Blake Hultgren for sitting down with us to talk about the 2021 spring season. For one final time, I'm Adam Smith from the Ozark Sports Report saying, have a good day, everybody.
And for Bosselman, who has really been in control of his breaking ball, it has been one of his best pitches. Now that breaking ball, if it's thrown in the dirt, really carries a hefty price.
State championship winning run at third base for Willard. The pitch to McMain. Swung on and hit into right field. Base hit for McMain. And for the first time in school history, the Willard Tigers are state champions in baseball.